For your general garden exhibits, I brought in two off the table just to make a couple of comments. First of all, I'll just mention, what does the judge look for? Because you can come into a show and think, well, how does this work? How does the judge work out what's good, what's not good, and how's it judged? Well, the judge doesn't look at the whole show. It's all divided into classes, which is what your schedule tells you, and what's printed in the newsletter per month. And the judge will only look at each scheduled item at a time and go along and judge each item. And as you go along, often there will be a best exhibit of the night or whatever, so you keep that in mind as you go, but you only look at one class at a time. Then you'll go look at the whole class and you learn to judge by comparison. Originally, you can point every flower or every exhibit, but you'd be here all night or all weekend doing that. So the judge's eye is trained to pick out a good exhibit. Say there's 6 exhibits. You look over them quickly to see that they all comply with the class, that there's no mixed vases in the one cultivar class or something like that doesn't qualify. And when you do that, you'll often find one that looks really good. And you'll keep that in mind and you'll think, yes, that's the best one. And then you'll compare all the other ones to that one and see whether there's any of them that are actually better than that one. And that's why you need to learn how to stage and put your exhibits up, because if your exhibit is the one that the judge looks at first and thinks that's a good one, it's got good flowers, they're nice and fresh, it's nicely staged, it's looking at the judge, yes, that's a good one. And then you'll compare all the others to it, and more often than not, that's the one that ends up getting first prize. But what we're trained to look at and to pick out what makes a good, either a good bloom or a good exhibit, is the form or shape of the flowers. And this includes the foliage and the stem, whether they're standing up nicely like this, or whether they're quite droopy, whether they've got crooked stems, and the shape of the flowers, which should be good for the type of flower that it is. And we also learned that more often than not, most flowers, we were taught to look at the clock, a round shape. A majority of flowers, good flowers, have a round outline that goes around, and that's what you'll, rather than squashed or triangular or oval or something. So the form or shape counts for a lot of points. The condition of the flowers, it should be, as I mentioned, coming to the peak of perfection of the blooms with no bruising or insect damage. So that's why you need to be careful bringing it, and hopefully the insects and snails and things haven't had a go at it in the garden. Should have good colour, and this is usually an indicator of age, because as your flowers age, the colour usually becomes quite dull. So a nice vibrant coloured bloom, you can be pretty sure that it's still coming to its peak of perfection. Once it's a little bit older, the bloom goes off, like us, you know.
Speak for yourself.
All right. So the colour is a good indicator of the age and freshness of your exhibit. The other one is the stamens and the pollen. Nice fresh golden pollen usually, again, is a good indicator of freshness. Once the flower ages, as I've explained with the hellebores, the pollen goes and the stamens go. Size should be to the best that you know that plant variety can be grown to. It's a good indicator that it's been well grown and that it's healthy. Now, the uniformity and presentation. This is where, once you've grown a good plant, you need to learn how to present it so that the judge does take that first look at it and think that's a good exhibit. And if you put all the work a whole year to grow a good plant, it's a shame if you don't put a little bit more effort into learning how to stage your exhibits so that it is the one the judge likes and looks at to compare. And last of all, the exhibit should be arranged to face the judge. Quite often, you'll come up to judge and you're doing this, which, you know, gets a bit hard by the end of the day of judging a show. So they should, and that's where you need to allow yourself time to put your exhibit on the bench and take a step back and look at it from where the judge is going to look at it. Often we're too rushed. You've got that lot in, you've got another 6 exhibits and it's only half an hour before they've got to get out. But you need to allow yourself time to just take that one step back and look at it the same way the judge is going to look at it. And it's often quite surprising how a little bit of a tweak can make your vase look a whole lot better. Didn't write down, but I should have. If you can possibly name your exhibit, that also helps. If there's 2 exhibits that are very close together, and one of them's named and one of them isn't, that will often sway the judge. So if you can put some sort of name on it, that's all to the best as well. I mentioned about checking the rules, and what's important for this sort of an exhibit is you must check the allowable size of the exhibit on the bench. Most schedules at most clubs will have a size limit. That's purely because when we rule up, it's quite difficult. If someone brings an exhibit that's this big and everybody else is this big, and you're allowing on the schedule it says maximum staging space 60, and the judge will look at that, and if you're over the 60, again it's that NIS, not according to schedule, so you're disqualified. So you need to read the rules, because you can't set up a show without giving each exhibitor an equal chance.
Shirley, with that, should it be, if it's 60, should it be within like 45 or something like that, so that there's a little bit of space between each?
No, with this, you can make your exhibit up to 60. Yeah. Usually that's a bit of space, and then it's up to the steward to make sure that they fit on so the judge can see them. So you don't have to go under it, but you can't go over. You should check the number of stems as well, because again, I read out, a container must consist of 2 or more stems. The only time you have one is in one class that says 1 bloom, spike, stem or truss. So that can be 1 stem, that's all it's asking for. But a container has to have more than 2 stems, 2 or more. And we've talked about being mixed or one variety. So there are things to check when you're putting your entries in, and I would stress, I know it's easier if you could do it like the Blues Comp here tonight, where you can walk around today and find what's nice in the garden, make your exhibit and bring it. But if you knew how hard it is to stage a big show and have it look good and be nicely presented for judging, it makes all that difference when there's a space marked on the table for your exhibit, and it makes it much easier to put your exhibits in on the day. So you do need to read again, it's on the top that your entries must be phoned in between 4 and 8:30 on the Thursday before, and then there will be a place marked, and you'll get a card with a number on it, and you'll find that number on the bench corresponding, and you just take your exhibit and put it in that space. So it's all beautifully laid out. It's only home time, isn't it? I was just going to, I don't think I will now, but I was just going to comment on these. This is a lovely exhibit, but I'll just do it quickly. It's a bit squashed up, and I have permission to do this from Anne. Can you look at that, please? very, very
Yeah,
quickly.
it does.
Can you see a difference?
Yes.
Right? A judge likes to see some air around the blooms, not have them all squashed in. And if I'd had time, I would have cut a couple of inches off the bottom of those stems, just brought them down a little bit. Wet newspaper is a good thing to take to the show with you, or some newspaper that you can wet, because that can be used if your things start sliding around a little bit, you can push a bit of newspaper in to hold them out. But that's a very, very quick demo, but I think it could be made a lot better, because it's a nice exhibit, but I think you can see where I'm coming from, can you? So
There's still too many.
you could take some out. It's a great inclination. You grew it, you've cut it, it's going to the show. And often, if you took one or two out, the biggest one or the littlest one, because the judge likes to see uniformity of blooms, and sometimes with dahlias and camellias, roses, things like that, where you're looking at uniformity of the size of the flower, and there will be a big one, a little one, and 4 or 5 in the middle. The 4 or 5 in the middle on their own didn't need the big one and the little one. So it is a great temptation to just keep adding, but yes, you could probably take 1 or 2 out. But you can see where I'm coming from, can't you?
What about the leaves? Would you have trimmed some of those leaves off? But you did say you'd take it down lower.
Yes, I'd take it down lower, and you can, if you think that taking a few leaves off will show your flowers up better. That's where it's all a little bit of trial and error. Don't take everything off, because the flowers can look quite bare if they haven't got some foliage. It has to be from their own foliage, but a little bit of foliage does enhance it. But the best thing to do is have a bit of a play. Blooms competition is a good place to learn, but it really will teach you to look at your flowers and see what's good and how you can grow them better.